Well, I was going to say everything John Bruning said, except that I'm not running for Senate. Maybe I'll think about it. Hey, John, you listening? Okay, no, listen, we need people who are going to go to Washington and stand for the United States Constitution. The Constitution matters. Elections have consequences. We elected a president 4 years ago who has made some Supreme Court appointments that are marginal. And now our future and the future of our children may be placed in their hands. Elections have consequences for the United States Senate. Does anybody know how a Supreme Court justice is placed on the bench? Well, they are appointed by the president with something else. Does anybody know what that is? Come on, it's in your Constitution. With the advice and consent of the Senate. We need senators who will go to the United States Senate and say, sorry, we don't consent. Folks, the future of the world, the future of the free world depends upon a free America. How many of you agree with that? We can say goodbye to Greece, we can say goodbye to Spain, but if we say goodbye to the United States of America, we've just closed the door and turned out the lights for freedom in the world. Freedom in the United States depends upon us honoring, protecting, defending, observing the United States Constitution. How many of you agree with that? There are at least 535 elected officials in Congress who, and a president and a vice president and a bunch of cabinet officials and a Supreme Court, they all take an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. How are they doing so far? Not good. They don't know what it, let me tell you three things. They don't know what it says. If they knew what it said, they wouldn't understand it. If they understood it, they still would not obey it, even after they took the oath to support it. I'm going to give you part of that oath, and I'll need your help on it, all right? They say that they solemnly swear that they will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Some of them are domestic enemies of the Constitution. So if the Constitution is going to be defended, it can be defended by some good people in Congress, the few, the proud, but it's mostly going to have to be defended by somebody else. You know who that is? Us! We, the people of the United States, are going to now have to defend the Constitution against the people who took the oath to defend the Constitution. That's a bit ironic, but it has come down to the last line of defense, and that is you, and that is me, and it is something that we absolutely must do. We must defend the Constitution of the United States. How are we going to do that? Well, the first thing we have to do is read it and understand it. I've got two more questions for you, and the first one's easy and everybody knows the answer. How many of you have a constitution? See your hands? All right, I've got another question. It's harder. I don't generally see very many hands. How many of you understand the Constitution as well as you think you should? Not many takers. Folks, we've got to get the Constitution out of our pockets and into our heads so it will come out of our mouths on command. So we can talk to our neighbors intelligently about limited government. I wrote my notes on my t-shirt in case I forgot what I was going to say, and only the front row can probably read it. But it says, man is not free unless government is limited. Thomas Jefferson said that. I want you to say it with me so you can say it to your neighbor. Are you ready? Man is not free unless government is limited. Start the conversation there with your neighbor. Where are the limits on our government found? In the United States Constitution. So I've got something that I need you to do that I believe is your civic duty. I charge you with this civic duty. It is more fundamental than voting. Now, I'm not saying it's more important, but it's more fundamental than voting. It's more effective than arguing. It is understanding the Constitution and simply communicating its message to one of your neighbors. If you will do that, you will be able, we may be able, to save this country for our children, for our grandchildren, so that they have the same opportunities that we have, so they're not saddled with a big debt, and more dangerously saddled with a big government that tells them what to do. Will you join me in that cause? Will you join me in that cause? Thank you. God bless each one of you who came out here today, and God bless America.